Welcome back to another episode of the Rock Solid Sports Podcast. Today is Tuesday, May 7th, and Drake might be cooked.
Yeah, no, what started off as a very fun rivalry has quickly turned into some messy stuff.
I think it might be over. More NBA, NHL playoffs. The Kentucky Derby was this weekend. Deion Sanders needs to stay off of Twitter.
Yes, he does.
We're going to do What's Back and a little Q&A at the end. Let's do it.
We gonna make it, baby.
Rock solid. Rock solid. Rock solid. Rock solid. Rock solid sports.
Welcome back to another episode. There was a very eventful weekend, not just in the sports world, but also in the hip-hop world. We had somebody on our panel maybe say something about rap beef not being back last week. I just want to give him a chance to maybe recant his statement if he wants. We'll start off the episode like this, just to get it out of the way.
I was wrong, and I knew I was wrong. I think the next day, after we recorded our episode, and within the week, there's been 4 songs that have dropped. 3 from Kendrick, and I think 1 from Drake, and then the parody that he put on Instagram. I lied. My bad. A week and a half is enough time for everyone to cook. Next rap beef will wait at least a week and a half before I say anything, maybe longer.
If anybody isn't hip to this, I'm sure almost everybody is now, but Kendrick and Drake have been going back and forth. This isn't sports news, but hip-hop does align with sports in some sort of fashion. They literally did play Kendrick's diss track on TNT after the Nuggets were getting cooked last night. I think it fits. There was a lot of songs dropped: Euphoria, Meet the Grams. I think the best one, my personal favorite, Not Like Us by Kendrick. Yeah, he made a club bop. I didn't know he could do that.
Yeah, no, this has gotten it's now become clear why J. Cole wanted nothing to do with this. At the beginning, I thought it was soft that he backed out, but I think he just knew that it was gonna get messy, it was gonna get ugly, and he was like, "I'm good. I'm just gonna back out of here. I'm gonna go run through the tulips while these guys go at each other." Somehow,
in a battle between 2 rappers going back and forth, being Drake and Kendrick, the biggest winner was J. Cole, and the biggest loser was A$AP Rocky. I don't know how. I don't know how that happened. Or the biggest loser might be Drake, but A$AP Rocky got cooked for absolutely no reason. Hilarious. But yeah, Drake got called a lot of names. I don't know if anybody wants to repeat those names on our podcast.
Where are the facts?
I won't, but I actually saw a sports comparison of this that I really liked. And it was Kendrick is Kyrie and Drake is Steph. Because, Steph's the guy, but 1v1, Kyrie's cooking him. And I think that applies to this.
Oh,
I think it matches perfectly with this.
It's a pretty good comparison.
So, we've made it. I think it's towards the end of this battle. I think both people have already said they're kind of going off of this. But if it was a battle, it was a war. Yeah. There was a winner. Who won, in your opinion?
I got to say Kendrick. I think mainly just because of how many people took his side. I think that's really what it comes down to in a rap battle like this, is kind of just how many people you can get to sympathize with your side. And, it's just one of those things. I was listening to the radio the other day, and the DJ made a really good point where he was like, people who are diehard Drake fans won't even listen to Kendrick stuff, and vice versa. But people who love just good music are going to listen to both sides. But yeah, I think by the general aspect of just the view of everything, I think Kendrick walked away with the win here.
I strongly disagree.
Oh, that's fair.
Who do you think?
I need facts.
That is true.
I'm seeing too much stuff about him pretty much feeding this information to him just to get him to drop some shit. And if that's the case, you lost. You spitting false accusations, and he's spitting real shit that you haven't even tried to rebuttal from. You got your wife living in another state, or your fiance of 5 years living in another state.
You need receipts.
And potentially the homie's homie is Yo BM's baby daddy. Come on now. And outside of that, what happened to Rick Ross's plane?
yeah. No, that's a whole nother story.
He said, "I pray you're playing." He said, "I pray you safe on that plane." He said, "I saw his nose. I saw his nose in the jet. The G-forces headed back like this."
Who do you guys think won? Your opinion?
Me and Saul talked about this the other day, and I think he changed my mind because you can't go out lying. Like he said, you just got fed information and then immediately got in the booth. Like didn't even want to maybe double check it.
You seen the short tees part?
Yeah.
The shirt that was on it said short tees
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
he's been talking about him being a little dude whole time. And then the Maybach gloves, like all that stuff, it had to have meant something. And he didn't even put that at after he dropped it on Apple Music. He changed the whole cover. It was just like a black cover for the cover art.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You've kind of swayed me as well. I mean, I
light-skinned
still stick with my answer though, because I just like I said, I think if we're talking about like how the public is gonna view who won it, I think it's Kendrick. But from that point of view, in terms of like looking at it that way, I agree it's Drake.
Agreed. Publicly, Kendrick, but he made some great points.
I mean, they were both rapping their ass off at the
Oh,
end
yeah.
of the day, and it was beautiful to see. And
We got
Drake even said, "I brought him out of retirement."
we got good music out of it. I think that's the
100%.
that's the beneficial factor.
We're the real winners.
I was about to say Kendrick dropped more in the past 5 days than he did the past 5 years.
Let's get Kendrick or Drake to start beefing with Rihanna. Let's get some new music out of her.
I like it.
No, the only really funny thing I saw was Drake's house did get shot up this morning. I think someone got taken to the hospital.
I was like, "That's really funny to you."
I don't know if that was funny, but
That's not the funny part. The funny part was the tweet that came out of it that says whoever shot that was wrong because there might have been children in there. I thought that was funny.
Lord.
I'm just saying, hey, Twitter's been great just because
we do not condone shootings.
Yeah, nor any of the other stuff that they have been talking about. Yeah, we don't condone anything. But no, that was that. It was a good week. I mean, we got new music out of it. I mean, yeah, we're the real winners, I think. So, poor A$AP Rocky. Yeah, good for J. Cole, I guess. Other than that, we'll get straight into it. The NBA playoffs have continued. We got into round 2 for all of the series. We are actually watching Boston and Cleveland right now. I expect this series to be pretty short, but we'll talk about that later. I'm sure what everybody's excited to see me in shambles for. The Nuggets might be cooked.
I mean, I would go as far to say that they are. Yeah, that was last night. Game 2 was some of the worst offensive basketball I think I've ever watched. It was pathetic. It was just horrible to look at, and it was one of those things where defensively they were doing fine. I mean, like in terms of an NBA game, like that's not a crazy number of points to have scored against you, but everyone was being too fancy. It's like they still think that they're just better than everybody on the court, and it was showing because nothing was coming together at that time, and they were just playing awful.
Game 1, I mean, it was a little less lopsided. The Nuggets made a run and kind of were up late, but then Naz Reid came in and had 14 points.
Yeah.
Had 14 of his 16 points in like the last 3 minutes. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards had 43 that game. He's amazing.
He's unstoppable.
We've talked about that countless. I have no issue with Anthony Edwards. Like usually if my team is getting beat this bad by a player, I try to form hate against them.
Yeah.
But with Anthony Edwards, I literally can't. Like I really like this Timberwolves team. They have a lot of guys that I would be happy to see win a ring.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, Monte Morris, Mike Conley, anybody except for Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a decent game 1. Jokic, Michael Porter, and Christian Brown, I thought all played pretty well. The rest of the team might as well not even have showed up.
Yeah, because in that game last night, they showed stats, like I think it was through like the 4th or something, where it said points off the bench, and the Timberwolves had 25, and I think the Nuggets had 7.
It was just awful to watch last night. I try to, I watched and I support the Nuggets because I think they are, one, a cool and fun team to cheer for, and their stories are cool, but another reason is because they usually have high character guys, and last night it was just kind of, hurt me to see just Jamal act like that because that was just not a good character move, throwing stuff on the court. I don't know how he didn't get suspended. I mean, Jokic looked like he essentially gave up in the second half, so that was rough to see, but we have a lot of basketball left. I'm not very hopeful. I think Hayden mentioned last episode that if we play like we did in that Lakers series, we're gonna get swept. And
Yeah, I mean that's what we were saying that whole Lakers series. Even when they were dominating, looked like they were going to sweep them. We were saying if they play like this against the Timberwolves, they're going to get run through. It's going to be hard to beat them.
and so far that's happened.
Jackson said it last night. Like I said, if we play like we did, we're somehow playing worse though.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yep.
I agree. Jamal needs to pick it up and needs to stop acting the way he did. I mean, that was just embarrassing to see for a lot of Nuggets fans and for the organization in general. So, I don't know. I'm sure you're happy.
Ecstatic.
This is what you wanted all along.
Anthony Edwards said he was going to get revenge for LeBron, so I appreciate him doing that for my big dog.
Again, a lot of basketball to play. I mean, we saw in the Vegas Dallas Stars series, the series didn't start until somebody won
Yeah.
at home.
No, yeah.
So anything can happen, but yeah, they got to pick it up. So another game that has happened in round 2 so far. There's only been, I believe, 3 games total in round 2, 2 being the Nuggets and 1 being the Knicks and Pacers. Let's go a little flashback real quick. End of the Pacers-Bucks series before we get to that. Patrick Beverley crashed out.
Oh, big time. Big time.
If anybody didn't see, he threw a ball at a fan. He was aiming for a fan and it hit a lady in the face. That was bad. And then he got the ball back, threw it back at the fan. Almost hit the lady again, but the fan did catch it this time. So that was just another bad character move. We've been seeing many of those. And then immediately after, went in the locker room and was supposed to talk to reporters. And when a reporter tried to ask him a question, he said, "If you're not subscribed to my podcast, you can't ask me questions."
Here. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Before I finish.
Yeah.
You subscribe to my pod?
Do I subscribe to you? I do not
So
subscribe.
you can't interview me then. No
Okay,
disrespect.
Well, Jamal is here.
You subscribe? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was some of the more unprofessional, childish shit I've ever seen in basketball recently that I can think of. And like that person that he said that to, like that interviewer, wasn't just some reporter. That was like a 20-year veteran producer at ESPN. Like that's a very important person. And that I was like, dude, you can't. And also, you can't put up like, what do you have, 7? Like, bro, you can't have a bad game and then act like you're like top dog and you can say whatever you want. Like, you have to play well and then respect the game itself and respect the fans that come in to see you. And like, yeah, I'm sure they were talking junk to you. Play better, dude. Like, if they're talking trash, it's probably because you're not playing very good. And yeah, him throwing the ball, it was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe it when I first saw it. Like the fact that he threw it, got the ball back, and then threw it harder at somebody. It just, I don't know, it's so bad.
That for me is what did it. I mean, he originally was aiming for a guy and completely missed him and hit this lady. Got the ball back immediately and didn't show any remorse, didn't think about it, immediately threw it again. And to me, that's like, dude, you missed originally. Just
don't do it again.
Yeah, and then you showed no remorse and threw it again. Like, come on.
It's a very bad look for NBA players. Very good look for podcasters, though. I think.
Yeah.
What do you say? We're gonna start using that at the bars. We're not. If any
Needless to say, if you're not subscribed, we're no longer answering your questions.
Except for the end of this episode.
Yeah. Any woman at the bars, you better be ready to subscribe. But no, that was the end of the Bucks Pacers series. The Bucks kind of went out sad, but they were injured. So I mean, I don't want to.
No Giannis. I mean,
Yeah, no Giannis, a one-legged Dame, and Chris Middleton's old. So, and then the end of the Knicks Sixers series was also interesting. Joel Embiid is now 30 years old, still has not made it to an Eastern Conference Finals, and the best player he's ever beat in a playoff series was Pascal Siakam.
that's pretty rough. I mean, yeah, I mean, he's just been one of those guys where I think at the end of his career and, you know, along down the road, we're going to look at him as like one of those great basketball players. But just watching it right now, you can definitely tell we're coming to the end of him having those shots still. Like, if he wants to go find one, I don't know if it's in Philadelphia right now. I think coming up soon it could be there if he wants to stick around for that long. But I think, like, right now, I don't know.
Well, Tobias Harris definitely won't be there next year, and that will open up a lot of cap space to maybe go get a Paul George, maybe a Jimmy Butler reunion, especially after Pat Riley's last words. But it's just funny. I get to joke about Embiid because, I mean, all the discourse around Jokic has been terrible the last 2 games, but outside of New York, no one's really given Embiid the same energy, so I will. So after those 2 series, now the Knicks and Pacers are matched up. Their game 1 was last night. That was an electric game. I got to watch it. That was a terrible ending, though.
Yeah, no, I think we saw something very similar in the women's college national championship where the game kind of ended on like an illegal screen.
The
where-
semifinal.
The semifinal?
UConn,
Yeah. So it was like, I don't know. I hate to see games called on that because, one, it was a terrible call. It was not good. But also, the game had been so good up to that point and things were flowing so well. And then all of a sudden, they're like, we're going to call this. That's going to virtually end the game.
Jalen Brunson had 43 points. I mean, he stole the show. Yeah, just to go back on that, yeah, there was like 3 or 4 reviews / challenges at the end of the game. I think the last 3 minutes of game time was about 25 minutes of real time. And I was just sitting here like, all right, I want to go watch the Nuggets and Timberwolves game too, but turns out I probably shouldn't have been hoping for that either. Josh Hart was a monster. He had 13 rebounds. He led the whole game from both teams with rebounds. Obi Toppin and Andrew Neesmith.
Real time. Neesmith drives it. Oh! Aaron Neesmith.
We'll put both clips in here. 2 of the craziest dunks. Obi Toppin did an East Bay. Middle of the game in the third quarter while they were up by 5 points.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
That offensively, and then he's guarding Brunson, who strips. Oh! Toppin goes between the legs.
In Madison Square Garden where he used to play, which was absolutely insane.
I'd have had to do the cojones dance, boy.
No, it was incredible. I mean, I know Knicks fans are a little upset of not having Obi Toppin right now, especially having Julius Randle out. He'd be that perfect fit, but he's a perfect fit in Indy. So that game too, I believe, is tomorrow. I think so. TNT wasn't scheduled. They didn't schedule Reggie Miller to call any games.
Yeah.
I think he's calling tomorrow.
Oh,
I think they just flew him in just to call this next game. Yeah. That's that's gonna be bad. He's gonna get his ass booed. That's all I know. So, any thoughts on Pacers Knicks? Do you guys have any predictions for the rest of the series going forward? Who's gonna win? How many games?
I got to root for the Knicks just because Jalen Brunson. He's from the Chi. So when I was back in Illinois, I watched him go for like 40, 50 points in the state championship. And I was like, I don't know who this lefty is, but he's a dog. Wicked.
Knicks in. It's already 1-0.
6.
Knicks in 6.
I was going to say Knicks in 6 for me, too. I think Indiana's nice, and I think they'll obviously get a couple. But the way Jalen Brunson's hooping right now, and those Villanova boys, too, I think they'll win.
You think that's a huge advantage, just like going into the league, playing with people you already have championship chemistry with? Like,
100%.
Yeah.
they just mesh well.
I got Knicks in 5.
Knicks in 5.
Yeah, I'm stuck between Knicks in 5 and 6. I think this could square up to be one of the better matchups we have in the playoffs. Just from what we saw last night, like we saw 2 teams that when it hits the road and it gets really tense there at the end, they play well and they do what they need to do to keep going. But I think the Knicks just are hot right now, and I think they're going to keep that going and that chemistry you were talking about. I don't see them really falling off, so I think Indiana is just going to have to play perfect basketball pretty much to win this series.
I'm still waiting on Tyrese to have. I don't think he's had like a huge, crazy scoring game this playoffs yet, and he's capable of doing it. So I'm still kind of waiting. I'd like to see it at least once before.
Fake all-star.
He hasn't had that statement game. But yeah, this is a series very interesting because the Pacers are the fastest paced team in the NBA and the Knicks are the slowest. So just to see those two kind of tendencies match up, it's going to create for a good and hectic series. So moving on, James Harden, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook are all still ringless.
Yep. I mean, 2 of those names on there with James Harden and Russell Westbrook, they come from that OKC team that I've said for years are just not winners. They're amazing, incredible basketball players. They're just not winners. Like, I think I put KD in there too. Like, even though he's won 2, some could say he went to a team to win those. And if he didn't go there, who knows if he'd even have one right now. But they've never found a way. James Harden on the Rockets had multiple opportunities, never could get it done.
Couldn't get past KD.
Russell has just always been just kind of a hardworking, solid, really good basketball player, never been able to get it done. And Paul George kind of in that same boat where he's always just been incredible but never been able to get over that hump to ever get to the finals and really win at all. So it's just – it sucks because they're so good and you want to see players like that succeed a lot, but it's just one of those things where they're entering a huge catalog of great players that are probably never going to win a ring.
Game 6 was on Friday. James Harden had a whopping 16 points on 16 shots. Paul George had 18 points on 18 shots. Perfect elimination game fashion for the both of them. Kyrie had 30. Luka had 28. He played terrible. He had 28 on 26 shots and 1 for 10 from 3. But the Dallas Mavericks still advance. They play the Oklahoma City Thunder in the next round. They actually play tonight. I think it's a late game. Predictions for this series.
Honestly, I don't even know if I can really give a really good prediction until I see this first game for sure.
We don't need to. We don't need to be right.
But that's my like heart where I go with. But I think I got to give it to OKC. I think they got a really good bond as a team. They're really young. They're kind of in that flow. They're hot right now. I'm going to give it to them. Come playing a Dallas team who kind of had some struggles against the Clippers.
You got OKC winning?
Mm-hmm.
In what?
I'm going to say 6.
I got Mavs in 5.
Sure.
I love OKC, I really do, but they're young. I don't think they don't have the experience yet. And Luka and Kyrie, they're hungry, dude. They're hungry.
Yeah, but some can say they've been hungry for a long time and they haven't been able to.
I think this is their best opportunity, though, to get to the hump of making it to the Western Conference Finals.
That's fair.
Playing an OKC team.
Stop.
Say Ramadan just ended. You know Kyrie's hungry. Come on.
I'm going to go Mavs in 7. I think it's going to be a tough series. But like Hunter just said, I think that the experience is going to play a big factor coming in down to 7.
I got Mavs in 6 due to experience and lack of experience, along with just elite scorers. And I feel like game management, like just being able to hold the ball and get your shot that you want between him and between Luka and Kyrie, I feel like it's going to be tough to battle that, especially with the size they have to get the ball up to Derek Lively or Gafford for whatever, because they can get to their spot at any point in time. Both of those guys, they can get in the lane and do what they need to do, and then they have the ability to dish it off. So
I got Mavericks in 6 as well. I think they take it at home in 6, kind of like just like they did this series. I don't really agree with the narrative that Luka and Kyrie might be hungry, but I do think that they are the 2 best players in this series. Shea, you got to put him up there too, but like Kyrie's been absolutely dominant this playoffs, and he has that ring. Yeah. He's been in those big moments, and yeah, again, not saying the Thunder are bad, like you said. I mean, I think they're a good team. It's not even the fact that they're even young either. I just think Luka's the second best player in the world. I think Kyrie is a playoff riser, and yeah, I don't know. I just don't see them stopping those 2.
Yeah, no, Mavs fans, you're welcome. If there was a graphic right here, I just saved it. I'm gonna ride, but I'm gonna ride well with the OKC Thunder. I think they got it.
I have one quick question. Who do you think is the best player in the world ahead of Luka?
You know who he's saying? Come on,
you got Luka at 2 right now?
Yeah, about to be 3-time MVP, number 15 in Denver. Yeah, who has a ring and a Finals MVP?
No, I'm saying like you got Luka at 2 though.
Yeah. If Embiid wasn't hurt, if Giannis wasn't hurt, I think that would change. But I do have Luka at 2. I don't think that's a crazy hot take. But
no, I don't think it's crazy. I don't agree, but I don't think it's crazy.
Wait, Ant's been playing. I'm putting him.
I was gonna say I got Ant at 2.
I don't disagree with that.
Need more sample size.
As long as he can keep it up, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think we need to see a little bit more.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when Mahomes.
Do you need to see a little bit more? He's on the screen right now.
Oh, yeah, there he is. But I think it's working kind of like a Mahomes after his like second ring moment right now, where it's like he's like the best up there right now, but like I need to see just like a little bit more.
The only reason I would give him that nod right now, though, is because he plays both ends.
That's true.
I agree.
He's not getting picked on nor bullied, because I promise you they're not going to try to go at him every time down the court.
Yeah.
And Luka did hold his own. What was it? They scored like...
It's game 2, I think.
Yeah, they were like 0 for something, only scored like a couple points, if any.
I heard somebody talking about it and say the reason why they think he's so dangerous because he has that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant mama mentality, but he does it with a smile on his face. He's dangerous on that court, bro.
The crazy part is, though, I mean, he might not even be my top 1 or top 2, but if he wins a ring this year, he gets set on a crazy schedule to be one of the best players almost of all time.
And he's only 22.
He's got probably
That's
one of the
so
best
scary
roadmaps in the NBA right now.
If he wins a ring this year, especially probably taking out the Celtics, yeah, we're gonna have some conversations, but we'll get there when we get there. You never know. You never know. Jokic still can.
Oh, yeah.
We had the best player in the world on the
series
Nuggets.
isn't over.
No.
It's only 2-0.
So next series, there was another Game 7. Best 2 words in sports: Orlando Magic, Cleveland Cavaliers. As much as people shit on this series, I mean, it turned out to be a great series.
No, yeah, I mean, Orlando fought back. I think they did what a lot of people thought they were. I think a lot of people thought they were just going to roll over and kind of just be like, all right, we're rebuilding, whatever. But they gave them a run for their money, and it made it a great series. And I think Orlando's looking good for the future. The fact that this is like a rebuilding year and they're going to Game 7s in the playoffs, pretty impressive. So I think this isn't the last time we're going to see the Magic in the playoffs.
The Orlando Magic did blow a 17-point lead in Game 7.
Yeah.
Franz Wagner and Jalen Suggs were terrible. I don't even know their stats off the top of my head, but I think they made like 3 of 25 field goals or something like that. It was bad. Paulo Banchero, amazing. Not on this podcast, but just going back a while ago, I said that Paulo was going to be a bust in the NBA. I've eaten my words on that by now. He had 38 and 16. He is going to be great in the future. Donovan Mitchell had 39 that game. And now the Celtics advanced to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers advanced to play the Boston Celtics. Fun nugget. I think that was the first series the Cavs have won without LeBron since he's been in the league.
Wow.
Also, first one since owner Dan Gilbert. First series that owner Dan Gilbert has won since I think ever, because I think he bought the team like right before LeBron got there. So I mean, LeBron somehow out of the playoffs before the Cavs.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But I mean, yeah, I think the Cavaliers are going to run into a juggernaut in the Celtics. I don't think that game. I don't think it goes beyond 5.
I was just about to ask, what's your predictions for this next series?
I think Cleveland sneaks one under them. I think they'll get one maybe, but it'll be a scrap to get that one. So like I'm almost leaning 4 games to the Celtics, but I think they'll scrap one out.
Break out the brooms. I got Celtics sweeping.
Celtics in 4.
It's tough. I'm with Jackson. I'm stuck right between 4 and 5. I think the Cavs are good enough to sneak one out, and Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland can do it. But
I mean, if the Heat can do it without Rozier and Jimmy Butler,
I'm gonna go Celtics 5.
Celtics in 4, even though they like to blow massive leads all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing is
course
I feel like they get up and they start out strong, but then they're so lackadaisical towards like that third quarter. They just allow games to come back or teams to come back into the games.
yeah,
I still got them in 4 just because I don't see them matching up with that.
yeah, I have Celtics in 5 as well. I think just Porzingis being out, I think 4 games is very reasonable. I don't see the Cavs making this competitive at all.
Mm-hmm.
But the Celtics are an absolute juggernaut. So, any other notes on the NBA? Any other notes?
I'm excited. I think we got some good matchups coming up, and I think honestly, after seeing the Nuggets do what they do and coming in as probably the biggest favorite to kind of go all the way there, besides the Celtics, I'd say the field's pretty much open to a lot of teams that could do it.
I could really see Dallas, Minnesota, Boston. I could really see those 3 as of right now, this moment. I mean, the Nuggets win the next 2 games somehow. I don't know how they will do that, but if they somehow do, I mean, they'll be right back in that conversation. So, and NHL playoffs also this weekend. We had 2 Game 7s. I know we watched a couple of them together, a couple of the games. I don't know if we watched both Game 7s together, but Boston did beat Toronto. I believe we did watch the end of that game together.
Oh yeah,
That goal from Pasternak, it was amazing.
Pull to the net. Lindholm, right wing corner. Pasternak is there. He scores! David Pasternak!
The pass, I think, was even better.
yeah.
It was like all the way. It was like off the I don't even know what they call those. The rails. I don't know what you call those, but it was off the wall, straight down the ice, and then right to Pasta. He had the overtime goal. I think Austin Matthews was like 1 for 3 this series playing. I think the 2 games that he didn't play, his team won.
Yeah. No, yeah. The Bruins just saved themselves from making history in the worst way possible. They
2
would've
two
been
years in a row.
They would have been the first team in NHL history to go back-to-back years blowing a 3-1 lead. They're on this revenge tour right now. It's maybe kind of got a little scary there, but Toronto will give you a run. But yeah, I think moving forward, now that they kind of got those losses, they kind of like got on the level a little bit more. probably get their heads on straight and probably play a lot better moving forward.
Toronto did the most Toronto-fashioned way of losing, almost coming back from 3-1. But I think every Maple Leafs fan knew what they were getting themselves into, knew they weren't going to win that game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have a lot of roster turnover. I heard Paul Bissonnette say something about that. I think they have a lot of guys that are on big contracts that might not be there next year. The Bruins did already beat my favorite East team, the Florida Panthers, yesterday.
Yeah.
I think the score was 4-1, at least when I saw it last. But that was a little bit of a shocker considering Florida had that momentum as well as Boston did. I think it was in Florida too, which not a good look. But again, anything can happen. Any predictions for that series? It's already 1-0 Bruins, but going forward.
I think the Bruins got it. I wouldn't say I know enough about hockey to really give you a good estimate on when they're going to win it, but I'd say Bruins in like 5-6. I think, I don't know, just from what I saw last night, I know things can change. We saw it in like the Dallas series, but I don't know. I think, like I said, I think those losses to the Maple Leafs kind of got them back on the road that they should be on, and I think they'll walk out of there.
I have Florida in 6. I think this one loss puts them back a game. I was going to have them in 5. I think this one loss puts them back a game. I think they'll do it in Boston in 6. Again, I just love the Panthers roster. I think the Panthers are going to make it to the Cup, so I'm going to stick with them.
I think it's very, very possible that whoever comes out of this, very much so, could make it there.
They got to go past the Rangers. That's going to be tough too. But predictions for the series, if you guys have any.
If you had asked me before last night, I would have said Florida in like 5. Just because Boston did kind of struggle against Toronto, and I didn't expect that to go 7. But then after last night, they did win 5-1 in Florida. I still got Florida, but I say 7 now. I think the game last night, Florida's not going to play like that again. It'll be a good series. I think Boston's not going to just go away too easily. I mean, they're hungry. I got it. Yeah, I got Florida in 7.
Florida in 7.
Got Florida because of Kodak, baby.
There you go.
Yeah, do you remember what he did in the press box there, or in the suite?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Scrippers in there.
If anybody hasn't seen that video, go look it up on YouTube for yourself. It was hilarious. Another Game 7 that we had over the weekend. Dallas Stars, Vegas Golden Knights. Absolute slugfest of a series.
Yeah.
Dallas moves on to play our Colorado Avalanche tonight, actually. Jake Ottinger, the goalie for the Avs, or the goalie for Dallas. I just want to give him one shout-out before I have to stop rooting for him for the next 2 weeks. He was amazing in that Game 7. Vegas had so many opportunities, and he just looked like he was just so on point, which, I mean, we haven't really seen that with all the goalies in this playoffs. I mean, Bobrovsky, he's looked good. Igor's looked good for the Rangers, but other than that, I think Jake Ottinger, after I saw that performance, I was like, okay, this guy might be a top 2 goalie in the playoffs right now. So,
yeah, no, and there was a slugfest of a series, but it ended in a very snooze fest of a game, kind of. It was very slow, didn't have a lot going on. You know, I was watching it. I had, I had some bets down on some goals and stuff, and I was just watching the seconds tick by and the periods go by with like nothing happening. Great goalie play, but yeah, just nothing was really happening.
So the Avs are up tonight against the Dallas Stars. I believe they had a playoff series like years ago where there was like a great video of a monkey spinning a little wheel, and it was like whoever he landed on was going to win. And I think he did land on the Avs, and I don't know if the Avs won that series, but I mean, just to throw it back to that video, any predictions going into this series?
I think the Avs are coming in hot right now. I think they're going to do really, really well. I think the Stars are a very good team as well, so I think they're going to give them some trouble. I don't think it's just going to be them rolling through them. But, I mean, the way Georgie's been playing is just gives me a lot of hope that they're going to do really, really good. And not only that, but they tend to score a lot. And if you can't score that much against them, then there's no way you're going to win the series. So, yeah, I got the Avs.
Wholeheartedly agree. I think we're hot right now. Again, it's the same the whole playoffs for us. Is Georgie on or is Georgie off? He was on for all of last series except for Game 1. So I think tonight will be really interesting. First game in Dallas. Yeah. We'll see how he comes out. But, yeah, I got us in 6. Dallas is a great team, though. So I think if he's not on, they're much more dangerous than Winnipeg. So we can't play around. He's got to be on every game. But I got us in 6.
I'll go Avs in 7. I think this goes 7. They're just going to have to win in Dallas that last game. But I think the way McKinnon's playing right now, I think the way Val's playing right now, the way Georgie's playing right now. And don't get me wrong, the Stars, they have like 3 guys on their team. Robertson, I forget the young guy's name. I think it's like Wyatt something. He's been playing amazing. Again, Jake Ottinger. I think they got them like all in like the same draft too, which is absolutely insane. But yeah, I got Avs in 7. I'm excited to watch the game tonight, and hopefully we'll have good takes going into Thursday when this is probably dropped. So the other series in the East, the Rangers are up 1-0 against the Hurricanes. I think that was in No, was that? No, it was definitely in New York because they won the Presidents. Mika. Let me not butcher this. I literally have the pronunciation. I have it in front of me, so I don't butcher this. Mika Zibanejad. I think I actually got that right. Yeah, he had 2 goals. I think he had 1 power play goal, and then there was 1 other power play goal for the Rangers. He looked great. The Hurricanes played well though. They caught up in the end. Came back a little late. Only finished, I think, down. I think they only lost by 1, but it was close. They had a higher face-off percentage. They had more shots on net. If they didn't give up 3 goals in the first period, I honestly think the Hurricanes would have took that on the Rangers' ice. But the Rangers are an absolute wagon. They had 3 goals again early, and then just played bigger and tougher the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers are a juggernaut, and I think it may be one of those things where the Hurricanes come into it knowing that they got to play hard and scrap to really stay in it with them, and maybe the Rangers came in a little lax on feeling like they're just kind of the best and they have it no matter what. But I think, I don't see anybody really stopping, or especially in this series, I don't see the Rangers getting stopped by the Hurricanes here. They maybe sneak 1 under them, maybe, but I think the Rangers win it.
In 5?
5.
I like that. I actually agree with you. I got Rangers in 5. I think they're a phenomenal team. Igor's locked down. I tell you what, too, the Rangers on a power play, insane. I'm pretty sure every single power play goal they had, if I remember correctly from watching, they scored within like 15 to 20 seconds. I mean, they didn't use the whole 2 minutes. It was just automatic. And their passing ability on those power plays, you end up having to penalty kill against the Rangers. Good luck.
Yeah, I agree. I heard they're just like the best power play and penalty kill just units in the game. I mean, Edmonton has a great power play unit as well. I do have Rangers in 6. I'll give Carolina a couple games. They're a solid team, and they have some guys that I think can make this series last a little longer than maybe expected. The other series that is going on, Vancouver Canucks play the Edmonton Oilers. I don't really have any notes besides, I think Edmonton's probably going to wipe the floor with them. Yeah. I think I'm going to give maybe Vancouver 1 game. I think they're missing their goalie for at least the first 2 or 3 games. And then, I mean, the only matchup I'm looking to watch is McDavid versus Quinn Hughes, who's probably going to win the Norris Trophy. But other than that, I mean, because when I was at the Western Conference Finals 2022, it was cool to see Cale Makar kind of shut down and kind of neutralize Connor McDavid. So I think Quinn Hughes, who's I don't think should win the Norris Trophy. I think it should be Cale Makar. But I mean, he's had a great season. So again, Oilers in 5 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't paid enough attention to Vancouver really to give that good of a breakdown of them, but I have watched a lot of the Oilers play, and they're very good. They're just one of those teams that you're going to run across that's just not going to hold back on you at all. So yeah, I got Edmonton as well.
McDavid doesn't have a ship, right? He's a bit of a Joel Embiid.
He's, I'd say, a little bit more.
He makes it a little further in the playoffs.
Respectfully, yeah. Oh yeah, he's at least made it to a Western Conference Finals. But and I think he's
in the realm of hockey. I'd say
he's talented.
He's higher up on that pedestal than Embiid is in basketball. I would say.
Fair enough.
He's respected.
He's one of the best.
He's a dog.
He's nice.
Prediction?
Edmonton. I do think Vancouver is a sneaky good team, though. I think it'll go 6. I think they're a sneaky good team, but I do have Edmonton in 6.
Another event this weekend. For rich people, it's fun. For me, it's still fun, just not as fun. I get to watch horses run around a track and lose my money. The Kentucky Derby was this weekend, the 150th Kentucky Derby. Mystic Dan won. He was, I believe, I think like
20-1.
Yeah, he was not like the lowest in the odds, but he wasn't near the top either. Talk about your bets that you won.
So the bet I won. Yeah. It was kind of.
I tried to set you up there.
Yeah, no, I just said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put $50. I just got off work, so I was sitting in a Buffalo Wild Wings in the full garment. And I was sitting there. I was like, you know what? $50 is going down. Because you called me with 10 minutes left of my shift, and you're like, hey, have you put a bet down yet? And I was like, no. And you're like, get on it. And I was like, I bet. So I put $50 in, and I bet on a couple things. The only thing I won on was...
He ain't give me no cut either.
I didn't even get my own cut. I bet on Sierra Leone and the number 11 horse. I don't remember its name, but they showed, which is when you get in first through third. So I won half of my bet back with that, with $25. But man, I was looking like that meme of that guy in that the horse thing, like riding it in the middle of nowhere. Dude, I was looking like that because Sierra Leone was catching up to the very end, bro. And when they did that little slow-mo, the little Lightning McQueen.
Great photo finish.
Oh, yeah, dude. I was like halfway leaned back watching it because, I mean, not like I had thousands of dollars on the line, but it would have been a nice little cut, you know. But, it's always fun to watch those because you usually don't most of the time.
Yeah.
But when you do, and especially when you got some skin in the game, because it's fun to bet on horses occasionally. Not a professional, but it's fun to bet on horses because, you know, you can win a lot not betting that much.
Let's ask someone else if it's fun to bet on horses. Caden.
It's not. It's not fun to bet on horses, and I don't want to do it again. I had a myriad of different bets, but the only one that...
Good word.
Thank you. The only one that was worth anything was Sierra Leone winning, and obviously we saw how that played out. I was telling you, I've never jumped up out of my seat at a horse race. You can ask Joy. I literally, once it got that close, I jumped up because I was so excited. It was a great race.
Oh, yeah.
Great race.
Mm.
It was the only cool thing I love about the Kentucky Derby. I didn't have any bets, but I just love seeing all the fancy hats and all the people dressed up in fancy suits. I want to go one day. I've never been to Kentucky. I think I told Caden the first time I want to go to Kentucky is for the Kentucky Derby. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just a cool event in general. It only happens once a year, you know. It's kind of like the Masters or, you know, some other cool events like that.
It's something that's got so much legacy behind it that even if you don't watch horses, you're watching the Kentucky Derby. You don't watch the other ones in the Triple Crown, but you do watch the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, and sometimes bet on it. So,
Good
luck next year. I hope you do better. Truthfully, because I think the same. I think I told him to pick a couple of the bets. So.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The only reason I picked Sierra Leone is because Dave Portnoy, I'm pretty sure, was betting on him, and that's the only knowledge I had of the horses racing.
And
so
then
that's why I picked him.
And then he switched his pick to Fierceness, and Fierceness. Oh my gosh,
terrible
shit. He or she. I don't know what the horse's pronouns are, but Fierceness did not do great. It was the betting favorite. I'll go with it. It was the betting favorite, and it did not do very good. So
I think that's worse.
Let's just stick to calling them fierceness. Just call them fierceness.
See, it's a little confusing. But anyway,
call the horse Fierceness.
There you go.
It was a great event, though. I'll definitely be watching it again next year. Again, do not take any of our gambling advice ever.
Never.
It's never good. Until next week.
Yeah.
Until next week.
Mm-hmm.
Any notes on horses, Kentucky Derby?
I understand the tradition. I think it's great. That's about all I have on it. It was a cool finish. There were like three horses really close to winning, right?
Yeah. It was
I don't know
number 3, number
like
2, and
anything
number
about
11.
it beyond that, but it was cool.
Photo finish was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll definitely put that picture on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
In other news, kind of Colorado-ish, the head coach of the University of Colorado football, Deion Sanders, Mr. Primetime, not a good look on Twitter this past week. He was talking a lot of shit to his couple former players. He had a pretty bad article written about him, which I was told it was from a Nebraska beat writer and a guy who was also an alumni of Nebraska, which obviously they're going to come at Prime pretty quick. But
Yeah.
I think it was a lose-lose situation for Deion.
Yeah.
If you didn't see it, he just kind of tweeted at some of his former players, said some really bad stuff. again, not a good look. I don't know the exact quotes. I think we're going to clip one of them. But other than that,
Oh, Lord.
yeah, it just ended up him pretty much getting clowned by all of the national media, and along with the bad side of Twitter, just clowning that he has 3 toes.
Yeah. No, I love Deion. I love when he talks shit. I think it's super entertaining and also obviously, pumps up the guys at CU. It's awesome, but I think when you enter a realm of a 50-something-year-old talking shit to an 18 to 17-year-old guy, it just gets a little, like, embarrassing to do that. Like, I know he was, like, defending his son or whatever, but it's still, like, that's not something you involve yourself in. That's where you tell your team, I feel like, to back him up on this. But, yeah, I think it was just a little embarrassing of him, of a guy who I think has been very much so a guy who stands on business and is very inspirational and all that stuff, to kind of, like, stoop down to talking shit to a young kid. Like, I don't know.
I think the only bad thing is his, like, shtick or his persona is kind of based off of empowering, like, young athletes, and then to go just, trash them on Twitter is literally the most contradicting thing you can do. But yeah, again, I like Coach Prime, so it was kind of upsetting. I mean, I talked to one of my buddies who's a huge CU fan. He was like, I just want to make it to September, and like, I just, it's time to just win games. It's not time to do all this talking. So, any thoughts on what Deion should or shouldn't have done?
I didn't really see it, but stand on it. Shit.
I mean, obviously in the realm of professionalism, you shouldn't do it, but hopefully it lights a fire under CU.
I feel like it's authentic too. Is the biggest thing is like all these kids complaining and whatever because he told them to hit the transfer portal. Be better.
Yeah.
I can't really. He wants to win. He didn't come here to lose, so
No, yeah, I agree.
that's the biggest thing.
I do think you kind of run a thin line there, though, when you do that, because I think you kind of can push away some solid guys because you're going to be like, if you want to leave, whatever. Like, I just think he runs that thin line. I think he's on the right side of it, but he runs that line of, like, being just a bit too much where it's like, hey, man, not everyone on your team is going to be a 5-star superstar there. So it's like, I think he runs that line, but I think he's on the right side of it. And hopefully it's lights a fire under CU. They need to play a lot better than they did last year. But, yeah, I think he needs to stay out of younger kids' business, probably. Shout out Drake.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think one of his top cornerbacks, Cormani McClain, did just enter the portal. So just kind of like with what you were saying, it's a fine line you're watching. But, we're going to get into an ad read real quick, and then we will be back for our segment part of the show. So stick around.
Slove is not just Colorado's next up-and-coming clothing brand. It's the clothing brand who aims to bring a movement globally. When you wear a Slove piece, you're not just wearing a piece of clothing. You're elevating your style and representing what love looks like. Are you ready to spread love? Join Slove in creating a world where love triumphs over hate and fashion meets compassion. Follow them on Instagram at slove.co or their website, slove.us. That's SLUV.us.
Welcome back to our segment part of the show. Today we have What's Back, and then we have a little Q&A at the end, so stay tuned for that, especially if you asked a question. We'll see if we actually answered it. So my What's Back of the week, country and hip-hop collabs.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
I don't know if anybody saw the picture. Zach Bryan brought out Sexy Red on stage in St. Louis, Missouri. Hilarious, first of all. The fact that we can do these collabs in between just both genres is, amazing to me. It was just funny. And then they had their backstage picture of like just half of like Sexy Red's people and then half of Zach Bryan's people. I thought it was hilarious. Also, Post Malone and Morgan Wallen have a song coming out, I think May 10th.
Yeah,
so
I think that's right. I'm so excited for that.
Me too.
So good.
So throwback to a Lil Durk and Morgan Wallen kind of song years ago. But
When that song drops, though, I will have to stay off TikTok for about a good month, though, or it will ruin that song for me. So I know it's going to be good, but I don't want it to be ruined.
You see Morgan Wallen brought out? He brought out Theo Von and D-Hop. DeAndre Hopkins.
In Nashville. I mean, at least he didn't bring out 2 chairs. So at least he brought out humans. So, but yeah, that was my What's Back. Just country and hip hop collabs. I'm glad we're back because it kind of combines the 2 genres of music I listen to. So, your What's Back, Jackson?
My What's Back is related to the shirt I'm wearing currently right now. Go Dogs! But it is college baseball. There's this kid playing for Georgia right now. Charlie Condon is an absolute dog. He's having a crazy time right now. At the time of us recording this, he has 33 home runs in the season and has had 7 straight games with a home run. And I feel like every time I open up my Twitter, it's just highlight tapes of him just hitting home runs. He's like, I think he was a walk-on. He didn't even like get an offer there. He walked on there, and now he's looking to be like, I think in top 5 in the draft this year. So yeah, no, he's an absolute dog. It's really fun watching that, and they're heating up along with my alma mater, in Mississippi State. They're heating up.
You almost forgot your alma mater.
Yeah, I know, dude. Complicated. But yeah, with the College World Series coming up, Super Regionals and all that coming up, we got, I think it was like mid-June in Omaha for the World Series. Maybe make a trip if we got some teams in there. I don't know how Texas is doing, but maybe we see them there. But yeah, no, that's my what's back is just watching really good college baseball. When those guys are that good with those aluminum bats, it's fun to watch.
Do they do PED testing in college baseball?
I don't know. Probably not.
Juicing.
Let's hope not.
They got those dinner plans. That's what they got.
He's about to get paid NIL money too. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure. I'm sure he already is. So, shout out to Charlie Condon, absolute
Dog.
There you go. Caden, you're what's back.
This is all I'm going to say about it. Rat beef.
Damn right.
I think you had to say that after last week. What was it? Your hot topic was
Rat beef is not back.
So now
It's back.
okay.
My fault.
Hunter, your what's back?
Roasts. We had a Tom Brady roast just recently. It was on Netflix, right?
It was amazing.
It was pretty funny.
That was awesome.
It was pretty, they brought out Will Ferrell's Ron
Burgundy.
Yeah.
Yep. Peyton
It's
Manning
funny.
was there. It was incredible. I mean what's I don't even know. It's like Tony
Tony?
Hinchcliffe, yeah.
Tony Hinchcliffe, I think, the host from Kill Tony. Personally, I hate his comedy, but he was amazing. What was her name? Nikki Glazner.
Laser.
Nikki Glazer. That was her name. She was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning was there. Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft. It was great to watch. I mean, if you guys haven't watched, it's on Netflix. It is 3 hours long, but that was one of the best roasts I've ever seen, and I think it's going to be start a conversation for more athletes, like big-time athletes getting involved.
No, yeah, I mean, that's how roasts have been since, like, the Rat Pack was doing it with, like, Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. It's just, like, it's almost like a safe space for these comedians to, like, kind of just say whatever they want. Like, a lot of the time they are very controlled in what they're saying, like, a lot of the people up there. But I think this is kind of like their area where they're kind of like everything goes. Like because everyone knows it's just a joke, and that's how everyone's taking it. So everyone can kind of let loose when they're up there, and I think you see how good some of these comedians are with how quick those jokes are that they're making. But yeah, it was an awesome watch.
I do think I did hear a rumor on Twitter Tiger Woods might be the next one. So
That will be interesting for sure.
especially with all of his history of injuries and
And-
woman problems.
Yeah, no, and
Car
which,
accidents.
which are way more public than anything Tom Brady's ever really gone through.
Besides his last divorce.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was hilarious. If you guys have not watched, make sure you go check it out. This is not a plug for Netflix. I actually did really love it. So that was your what's back. So no, I agree. Roasts are back. So I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Your what's back, so.
The King of Rio, Mr. Jose Aldo, in Rio, stepping out of retirement and
UFC 301.
Yes, sir. UFC 301. He had a dominant performance against a young upcoming star, and he just did everything he needed to. He was looking real sharp out there. Yeah, he killed it.
I that might hurt Alex Pereira. I mean, he might want to be the King of Rio, but Jose Aldo. Make sure you put that on there.
Alex Perez, he's going to get there. He's already on his way to being the first UFC 3-belt champ. I think it's holding them at the same time because I think Henry Cejudo might have been a triple champ. Don't quote me on that.
That was I didn't really get to watch, but I did see only the Jose Aldo fight. That was the only highlights I saw from UFC 301. So the King of Rio was back. So all right, so we were kind of trying to workshop an idea for our last segment this episode, and we kind of stumbled upon just a Q&A. So I asked people on our Instagram story to ask us some questions. We got some really bad ones. If you are listening and you did ask one of them, you know who you are. But we did get some good ones. So I'll start the first one. They can hear you. They can hear you guys. Whispering, yeah. Okay. So we'll start off the Q&A. I'll get this one out of the way, Caden. Someone asked, "Are you single?"
As a Pringle, baby.
There's your answer.
Single as a Pringle. All right. I figured we'd get that one out of the way. All right. So we'll go through a couple of them. Start, bench, cut. Anthony Edwards, Shea Gilgeous, Ja Morant.
I think I got to start Ant right now. I think that's the most prominent thing to do. I think it gets real. I think when you want to go experience, you want to say you're going to bench Ja. But, I mean, I also feel like I haven't watched Ja play basketball in 2 years, whereas then I've been seeing SGA take off in his career as a young, fledgling all-star in this league. So I think I'm going to have to bench SGA, and then I think I'm going to cut Ja because I just haven't seen him play. Who knows how he's playing right now because he's been suspended for 90% of these last few seasons.
You guys start, bench, cut. Ant, Shea.
I'm exactly with Jackson. Ant, SGA, cut Ja, and not really for like you said. We haven't seen him play for the last 2 years, and I don't really care about everything he did outside of the court. But I feel like he's just hurt a lot.
I'm a cut Ant. Nah, I'm playing. Same thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm in the same category.
The only thing I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna bench Ja Morant. I mean, I think people forget how good he was. I get how good Shea's been this year, but if Ja Morant just didn't punch a kid and didn't bring a gun into Colorado's most prominent strip club of Shotgun Lilies, I think this conversation would be totally different. So I'm going to start Ant. I'm going to bench Ja Morant. I'll cut Shea. So do you want to answer the Mississippi State question?
Oh, man. I'd have to go deep into my research.
Let's just do top two. How about that? Top
two.
two Mississippi State cheerleaders was asked specifically for Jackson.
Jackson's the best.
Yeah, I'm gonna put myself in one.
Yeah.
Former. Like Hall of Fame. Whatever. But I'm gonna shout out my boy Luke Lott right now.
Yep.
Luke Lott's definitely there at the number 2 for me. I love that kid. He's dope.
Okay.
He's awesome.
Let's hope he's listening.
Yeah, he will be.
Okay, this one, I think this would be a good one for all of us. I don't know if we should do as in person or just in general, but greatest sports memory you have as a fan.
For me, it would probably have to be seeing Georgia win it all that in 2021, because I'd just been there through so many, coming so close to winning it and never getting to do it. And I watched all the games with my dad, and he passed away in 2019, and so it was a huge moment when they won in 2021. So that's at the top of my list forever for sure.
You guys.
Mine.
Don't take mine. No, I'm just kidding.
It's going to be probably yours. Game 5, when the Nuggets won last year, me and Mr. Joseph were there, so nothing will ever beat that feeling, I don't think. I've never felt that before, and I don't think I'll ever feel it again. It was crazy.
I'm going to go with – that's hard because I have a lot, but I'm going to go with the Braves when they won in 2021. Growing up a Braves fan, obviously, we had some success in the late 90s, but I wasn't born yet. So just, from my lifetime itself, I never really got to see them do all that great until, the past couple of years. Then when we finally won in 2021, that was really cool. Yeah. Definitely one of my favorite moments, for sure.
Braves.
Yes, sir.
It's tough. It is tough, but I think I got to go with Izzy sleeping Perea, getting his fucking payback for the first time. Mm-hmm. That was ecstatic to me. I also won some bread on that from my boy, so it felt even better. But I'm hoping come September 6th, we're all going to have a new one, us three at least, at One FC. I think that's just going to be electric.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that was great because Izzy, his little celebration after 2, I know that was.
I think that's, you said the whatever was, I think that's the best celebration.
No,
the one where he did the arrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was fire.
That shit was electric.
So my greatest sports memory to go along with Caden, obviously being in the building for Game 5 when the Nuggets won their championship. I've had a lot of ties to them growing up, so it was cool to see them finally get their first one. But since he already used that, my second one was on my 21st birthday. The Colorado Avalanche did win Stanley Cup, and it was electric. I remember that moment. After that was a little shaky. It was a little rough getting home from Denver, Colorado. But, no, that was awesome to be there with my friends, be in McGregor Square, not throwing chairs. to be there. It was awesome. So, and that kind of got me into the whole Avs fanship. So, I mean, that was just awesome to see.
Mm-hmm.
They hit McGregor Square this year. They need to step it up.
No, they will. They will. Next question. Who's the best dancer out of all of us? I think this only leaves two options. I'll let you answer first.
It was between me and the guy leaning in on the mic over there.
No.
Nah,
It's between you and Saul.
100%. 100%.
I get jiggy, yo.
Yeah, no, I think what it comes down to is flexibility, you know. And I'm gonna hit the pre-pause here, but he's a lot more flexible than I am. But yeah, I'll give it to Saul just for his ability to move. But yeah, no.
I was out there getting in the boot this weekend, so fuck it. I gotta put myself up there.
All right.
Let me just say this. Jackson's got some moves, but I'm going to give it to Saul. But Jackson's got some moves.
Yeah, pretty fly for a white guy.
It's close.
Jeez.
It's a close two, but for very different reasons.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Sorry, Saul. I'm gonna go with Jackson.
All right. Can't win them all.
Strictly because he can, I think, dance to a different type of music than you can dance.
You ain't never seen me dance to that shit, though, baby.
Once I see you get down to a line dancing and swing dancing, we can argue it. But both great dancers. They both steal the show at everything we go to, and leave some ladies for the rest of us, boys.
Yeah, relax, guys. Come on.
When we gonna hit Grizzly Rose then? I
Hopefully-
need to learn how to line dance. Fuck it.
Just stepping. If you show up like an hour before, they have lessons you can take.
That's fine. I'm there.
We'll be there once your ankle gets healed. Okay, next question. How do we figure out what we're going to talk about this week on each episode? What do you guys think? I have my answer, respectfully so.
Well, yeah, obviously we keep our eyes on all the games. We keep our ears on all the games. We look on Twitter. We look on everything. We keep up with not only like the professional statistical analyst of it all, but as well as kind of like the people's look on it and how they view it as well. Joey's working from Sunday to Monday, working on the breakdown. And then, we try to throw in our own little things here and there. But yeah, no, it's pretty much just like as soon as we wrap up what we're doing right now, which is we shoot on a Tuesday and we drop on a Thursday. As soon as we wrap up what we're doing right here, we're immediately back to, watching every game that we can and taking notes as much as we can and bringing our best to here.
Yeah, we all, have full-time jobs, so it's a little difficult sometimes. But yeah, I take pride in this. I do make the breakdown every week.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a lot of work. It's this is the most simple thing you could ever do, which is why we do it. Just guys talking about sports, but to get all the stats, research, and everything like put into a shared document that everybody can look at as we go through the show that has all the stats, some tweets, some videos. It's just I enjoy it because sports is probably my favorite thing to watch and favorite thing to do besides rom-coms. I will watch a rom-com here and there, but no, it's honestly it's a tough process and it's fun though. It is fun, and I think obviously the hardest part is Caden and our other people that work on this doing the worst part of it and having to edit and having to stay up later than they probably want to, but it is fun. We don't want to say it's not fun because we get to put this product out and all the comments, even if you like it, if you hate it, you still watched.
Yeah.
So
and I do want to give him a big shout out to Caden over there. He's doing a great job.
moves
We're on episode 5. This is episode 5 right now.
almost a month.
And I'm being totally sincere that if it wasn't for Caden over there doing what he does before and after the show, none of this would work. None of it would run as smooth as it does or look as good as it does. So big shout out to Moose over there.
Yes, sir.
Again, single as a Pringle. Ladies, hit him up.
He's
720
cute and he can edit. Ooh.
I think the biggest thing about it is just what's intriguing to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have the biggest story in the world, but if none of us care about it, then we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So.
I just checked that Google Docs, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much touched on it. There's, a couple things here and there that are kind of just biased to what we like Braves Dugout that we do. That we do that because Jackson and I are Braves fans. So But yeah, for the most part, it's just, what's going on in the sports world and what happens each week, and we kind of touch on all of it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll get 2 more questions here, and then we'll wrap it up. This one, I guess for all of us, just as basketball fans, but for you as well, because you are a Hawks fan. 1, should the Hawks move on from Trae Young? And 2, what would be your opinion on Trae Young possibly teaming up with Victor Wembanyama, who just won the Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, so, obviously Nuggets are my one team, but, I've always supported Georgia sports, so Atlanta's definitely my number 2 team. But I think it comes down more to how good Trae Young is, and I think it might just be an issue of him maybe just wasting his time in Atlanta. I think Atlanta still has a lot of things to figure out and what they're going to do. They're in a tough division, obviously. But, I think the best thing for Trae Young's career would be to move on from the Hawks. And when talking about him pairing up with Wemby, that'd be awesome. I think that adds a huge part to the Spurs team, a team that kind of desperately needs some sort of gas for the fire. But yeah, I would hate to see him go because he's such a huge part of Atlanta sports. He's such a big face there. But I think non-selfishly for his career, I think it would be a better decision to move on.
Any thoughts for you guys on that possible team up, or if the Hawks?
Is that something that's like floating around the sports world?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be him going to San Antonio then?
Yes.
That'd be interesting.
Well, Wemby ain't leaving.
Does
that'd
DeJounte
be
get to go there?
Hell no.
I'm just checking.
No.
All right, good. I don't want him there anyways.
You think that'd be a good pairing though?
I do. I think with the style of play he plays with, that it'd probably be a pretty good matchup. And then you also get some help on the defensive end with him probably going to be a defensive player of the year
In the
winner
future.
/ candidate
Every year.
going forward for the rest of his career.
I don't know how I'd feel. I'm not a Hawks fan, so I don't know how they feel about it. I mean, he averaged 26, 3, and 10 last year. So, pairing that up with Wembanyama, insane. Just like Saul just said, the way he plays would match up beautifully.
Agree. You guys hit everything.
I agree with everything they said. I would be a little concerned though, because if we're bringing Trae Young into the West and we're giving Wemby help, does he need help?
I don't think so.
He's amazing. I don't.
They won 22 games or what?
Yeah, their team
Yeah, I was
needs
about to say
help.
he
Yeah.
doesn't need help. They need help.
That's just what would scare me is if the Nuggets only have a short championship window, for me. So I gotta try to get in as many championships and MVPs as possible before Wemby and Ant and Luka, like these guys we talked about last week, start taking over the league. So stay in Atlanta, Ice Tray. Quavo loves you. All right, last question, and then we will wrap it up. So we kind of talked about this kind of a second ago, but we all love our teams, our sports teams winning. Obviously, every single one, every league. But which one out of all your guys' teams that you guys like, which would mean the most to win like that next one?
I think for me, and I think maybe my answer is adjusted because I've seen the Bulldogs win and the Braves win and like the Avs win, Nuggets win. Like I've seen them all win. But I think even with that, I'd go with the Falcons. I think it would just be awesome because they used to be really good. But we've just gone through a couple years, and ever since that Super Bowl, like we've just been not very good. It's just been kind of bad football, and we've been all over the map. And this is one of the first years where we're really coming into it with a little bit of optimism. But, yeah, no, it would just be nice to see. I watched them play for so long, and they were always so bad. And they could never beat New Orleans. They could never get over the hump to make it deep into the playoffs. They haven't been to the playoffs since that Super Bowl. So, yeah, I would probably go with them. It would probably mean the most to me to see them win it.
Like Jackson said, I've seen all my teams win. I think I want to say the Rockies. I really do. It's just so hard to care about them. It'd be so hard for me to be excited. I guess if we're going to the World Series and we're winning it, we got to be a good team. So, but I can't watch Rockies baseball now. So I think realistically, my answer is probably this second Nuggets championship.
Hunter?
Honestly, and I don't know that it would ever happen, but I would love for BYU to win a football championship, just for my family too, especially. I shout out my pops. I know he'd be ecstatic, and I think that would be just an amazing memory I would love to have with him if somehow they could do it. They're in the Big 12, playoffs expanding, there's a slight slimmer of hope, but that would be pretty cool for me.
That would.
I got to go wherever Bron's at. So if he stays with the Lakers, but I'm a Bron fan, so that's what I got to rock with.
No Bears.
Man, your bitch-ass Colts screwed that up. Well, I was so optimistic, too. I remember watching that shit with my pops at the – I don't remember where we were at, but we were at some restaurant, bar area, and Devin Hester returned the kickoff, and then y'all didn't let my boy touch the ball again. It was raps.
Shout out Adam Vinatieri. I don't know how he let that first kick go to Devin Hester.
Wasn't that like a planned thing? Like
Yes.
they like all week they were like, we're not kicking it to Devin Hester. Then last day they're like, you know what? Screw this guy. We're kicking it to him. That's what you don't do.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was so cool.
But yes, the Colts did win that one. No, it's tough for me. I've seen almost all my teams win. Actually, I have, but two of my teams, I mean, that was like the reason I actually got into them, being the Avs and Texas. But Texas, I was like 4 years old. So it would be between the two football ones, for sure. It would be between Texas and the Colts, and then also the Dodgers, just because everybody doesn't really give them their full credit for winning that ring in 2020 just because COVID, which, rightfully so. But we have Shohei now. I think, we have Freddie, your guys' guy. So I think there's a chance. But if I had to choose one, it would be the Colts. We haven't done it since Peyton Manning. And just to see, like, Anthony Richardson, a guy like that, and, just to see them, no offense, win one more before the Broncos and tie them up in Super Bowls, it would mean a lot to me. So, in order, I'd go Colts, Dodgers, and then Texas. But Texas being in the SEC, I think it's going to be a little tougher. So, but yeah, other than that, that wraps up the Q&A. You guys did ask more questions, so we do appreciate that. We just can't get to all of them. I don't think you guys want to hear all of our answers to this.
And this also won't be the last time we do it, so make sure you keep an eye out for our Instagram stories. We're going to be popping them up probably every other couple weeks. They won't be scheduled, but, they're going to pop up when you see them. Throw a question in there because we love answering them, and we also love that people are watching and people care enough to actually throw some questions in there for us to answer. So, yeah, just keep an eye out for them.
Yes, thank you so much again. We've made it a month now, so it's been fun for us. The fact that the people that are watching and that are supporting that and tell us whether we're doing a good job or doing a bad job. We do appreciate you for watching.
Mm-hmm.
Again, go follow all the socials up there, somewhere up there. Make sure Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, go subscribe, go follow. We do really appreciate it. Again, shout out to the people behind the scenes. They do most of the work. So it's been really fun. We will be back next week. But yeah, hopefully more news next week.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we have anything planned right now. We are going to have our first YouTube video of a non-podcast, hopefully up in the middle of June. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, go tell somebody you love them. It might just make their day. Peace.
Peace.